Have you ever noticed how some people never seem to fall apart? They rarely complain. They never ask for help. No matter what life throws at them, they just keep going. Everyone calls them strong. But what if that strength is actually a survival mechanism? And what if an entire generation has been carrying invisible emotional scars while nobody noticed? Generation X is often described as independent, resilient, and tough. But there's a reason they became that way. And it's probably not what you think. Many people from Generation X grew up in a world where emotions weren't something you talked about. You handled your problems. You stayed quiet. You figured things out on your own. For many, coming home to an empty house after school wasn't unusual. Parents were busy. Life moved fast. Being independent wasn't a choice. It became a necessity. At first, that sounds like a good thing. Independence builds confidence. Resilience helps you survive. But here's the part people rarely talk about. When you're praised for never showing pain, you slowly stop believing your pain matters. Pause for a second. Have you ever answered, "I'm fine," even when you weren't? Now imagine doing that for decades. Psychologists have found that children adapt to whatever helps them feel safe. If expressing emotions brings rejection, criticism, or simply gets ignored, the brain learns a simple lesson. Keep it to yourself. That strategy works as a child, but adulthood is different. The feelings never disappear. They often return as chronic stress, emotional distance, or the strange feeling that you always have to stay in control. That's why some of the strongest people struggle to answer one simple question. How are you, really? Not because they don't know, because they've spent years disconnecting from the answer. And here's the twist. Generation X didn't become emotionally distant because they didn't care. Many actually care too much. They're often the people who solve everyone else's problems. They show up, they provide, they protect. When it's their turn to need support, they stay silent. Because somewhere along the way, they learned that needing help meant being weak. Think about that. The people everyone depends on often have nobody they feel comfortable depending on. Maybe that's why so many seem exhausted, even when life looks stable on the outside. Not because they're broken, because they've been carrying emotional weight that was never meant to be carried alone. The truth is, resilience and vulnerability are not opposites. Real strength isn't pretending you're okay. It's having the courage to admit when you're not. Maybe the greatest gift we can give ourselves, and the people around us, is permission to stop performing strength every single day. Because healing doesn't begin when the world finally notices your pain. It begins the moment you stop hiding it from yourself.